A popular WWE star is taking time off, but first, a former champion is set to become a free agent. 2024 is shaping up to be a very interesting year in terms of free agency, with many contracts from the likes of WWE, AEW, New Japan, and Impact Wrestling coming to an end. Top of that Impact list is Deonna Purrazzo, whose current contract expires at the start of January 2024, and we now have an update as to what the former Impact Knockouts champion's future could hold. According to Fightful Select, the Virtuosa is ready to allow her Impact deal to expire in order to enter negotiations as a free agent, but they're set to explore her options come the new year, and they would write, Fightful had reported quite a while back that Deonna Purrazzo's Impact Wrestling contract was set to expire and she'd become a free agent at the start of 2024. In following up, we're told that Purrazzo intends to explore free agency and no deal with Impact Wrestling is being reached. Purrazzo has worked WWE, NXT, AEW, ROH, AAA, and Stardom in the past. Fightful would go on to reveal that there had been belief within Impact that Deonna was set to stay with the company, with them going as far as using her in promotional material for future TNA events after the new year. However, her last scheduled date of her current deal is set for this weekend's Final Resolution tapings in Canada. It's worth noting that Deonna is close to people in both WWE and AEW, with her being friends with the likes of Britt Baker and Chelsea Green, and you'd expect that she is likely to receive offers from both organizations due to her television wrestling experience and her in-ring talent. But what do you think the future holds for Deonna Purrazzo? Would you like to see her land in your favorite wrestling promotion? Let me know in the comments down below. And before we continue, I'm trying to hit 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so if you don't mind, double check that you subscribe to the channel below, especially if you're a regular viewer of our news updates, as it would really mean a lot. As it stands, we're just over 3,000 away, so it's going to be a tough task, but I know from the analytics that a lot of people that watch the content haven't yet subbed, but do come back for more, so if you're one of them, I'd really appreciate you helping me out. But with that said, let's move on to the next story. And next, Seth Rollins has made things personal with CM Punk. Following the WWE return of CM Punk, the Second City Saint looks set to enter a feud with current WWE World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins at some stage, with the two men set to play off apparent real-life tensions to create an on-screen storyline. The first tease we saw of this was during Punk's appearance at Survivor Series last month, where Seth could be seen raging at ringside as he was held back by WWE staff, something that was caught on tape by fans at ringside and something that wasn't shown on the broadcast itself. It was then reported by multiple outlets that a near backstage altercation was taped in gorilla position as Rollins was seen trying to get to Punk, something that was recorded by WWE for future use once the feud materializes. Speaking to Sports Illustrated this week, Seth would give his side of his beef with CM Punk, detailing when his opinion turned sour on the straight-edge superstar, and he would say, a lot of it is personal, a lot of it is stuff I don't really want to get into. For the most part, I just think he's been really selfish when it comes to his perspective on the industry. I think he's been extremely self-serving, has played the martyr role to a T, and has, for someone who, when I met the guy, and look, I have a lot of good things to say about parts of my relationship with him. He helped me in places when he didn't have to. Whether that was for his own good or not, I'm not entirely sure. Regardless, it helped me get to where I needed to go and do the things I needed to do. For a guy who, when I met him, made it seem like he was all about giving back to the business, he really turned into a pretty selfish guy and wanting to make money from the industry. Rollins would then hit a low blow by mentioning Colt Cabana, Punk's former best friend, a former friendship that led to all kinds of chaos during his time in All Elite Wrestling. Seth would add, look, he said some really bad things about me, talked down about me for years and the company for years. I'm talking about some really bad stuff, called me a bootlicker and crap like that. You don't know me, you don't know what I stand for. I'm a loyal person and I felt pretty insulted by a lot of the ways he treated me, treated the place I work for, treated friends that I worked with. I don't need to get into any of the stuff with Colt Cabana. If you want to look at that kind of stuff, that's out there. Rollins would go into more detail as to his apparent real-life heat with Punk, taking issues with shots towards WWE during Punk's hiatus, and he would say, Just the way he treated people, the way I felt like he's only looking out for himself, and then the way he talked about me and my friends and the people who are here putting the hard work in at WWE, trying to make this thing as good as we possibly can because we love the industry, truly love it. Not just what it can do for us, we actually love it and want to give back to it and make it the best it could possibly be. I also felt like he's a fraud in that sense, or at least turned into one at some point in the last decade. That's the long of it. It's deep-rooted. I wouldn't call it hatred, but there's animosity there. It certainly feels like Seth Rollins is really testing the resolve of CM Punk and the potential behavior clause in his contract, but assuming the cult mention is cool in Punk's eyes, Seth has made what will be a worked angle a bit spicier once it hits screens in the coming weeks and months. Despite the venomous jabs, Rollins would say that he is open to mending fences with Punk in the future. This when asked if he's willing to work a program, and he would say, "I'm open to mending fences if that's even possible. I know that might sound crazy, but I'm open to it. I'm almost 38 and I ain't got time to hold on to these grudges. I think it's a lot of energy to hold that negativity in, and I'd like to put that energy somewhere else and make it positive. I'm open to all different facets of what this could be. I'm pretty open-minded when it comes to stuff like that. I think there will be a way to make it work for everybody." He says he's the best in the world. That ain't the case. I'm the best in the world. I'll make anything work, no matter who it is. But what do you make of Seth Rollins' feisty comments towards CM Punk? Let me know in the comments down below. Next up, a major world champion is returning to Impact Wrestling. Earlier in the video, we would discuss upcoming free agent Deonna Purrazzo, who looks set to explore her options outside of Impact Wrestling, and we now have more news concerning another upcoming free agent. It was recently reported that New Japan Pro-Wrestling's biggest star, Kazuchika Okada, could potentially be set to head elsewhere, with his current contract expected to end at the start of February 2024. However, before he gets there, he'll be making a return to TNA Wrestling for the first tapings of the company's new era. Impact would announce today that Okada will be present at their Snake Eyes taping in Las Vegas, Nevada on January 14th, this being the first television tapings following the Hard to Kill pay-per-view, where the company is set to rebrand themselves as TNA Wrestling once again. Okada is no stranger to TNA, as it was in 2010 and 2011 where he went there on an excursion from New Japan, a run that soured the relationship between the two companies for more than a decade due to how he was booked. This may be the last chance for TNA to use their current working relationship to book the former IWGP World Heavyweight Champion at least anytime soon, as he could soon be a free agent just 2 weeks after the Snake Eyes tapings. But where do you think Kazuchika Okada will land in February? Will he stay in New Japan Pro Wrestling, or will AEW or WWE snap him up? Let me know in the comments down below. And next, 2 recently released WWE stars have been booked. In September 2023, multiple names will be on the WWE chopping block as the company released wrestlers from both the main roster and NXT. Perhaps the 2 most notable names on that list were Matt Riddle and Dolph Ziggler, both of whom found championship success on Raw and SmackDown. This week, Maryland-based indie MCW Pro Wrestling would announce that the King of Bros and the Show-Off are both heading to the company in February 2024. This for MCW Fan Jam 2. Ziggler will be a part of the convention side of the event, whilst Riddle will be competing on the MCW Anniversary Show on February 4th. This is the first wrestling-themed event that Dolph Ziggler, now going by his real name of Nick Nemeth, has been announced for, whilst Riddle has already been confirmed for upcoming big-time wrestling shows. The latest batch of releases will be available to appear for other wrestling companies from December 20th onwards, and December 21st in Matt Riddle's case, with us now waiting to hear more on the future of fellow releases such as Mustafa Ali and Elias. And next up, a popular WWE star is taking time off. This past Monday night on Raw, Sami Zayn would be on the losing side of a match with Drew McIntyre and would suffer from a storyline injured knee in the process. Drew would then lay Zayn out in the backstage area, once again focusing on the knee, seemingly writing the Canadian off of television for the time being. Well, it's now been confirmed in the Wrestling Observer newsletter that Sami recently requested time off, a request that was granted, with Monday's angle seemingly being the on-screen excuse excuse for his absence. Whilst it's not confirmed if he'll appear on television between now and his break, we do know that he isn't scheduled to appear on the December 28 live event in Laval, Quebec, the home province of Sami Zayn, a show that would typically be built around him. It would seem that based on the angle to write him off, Zayn will enter a feud with Drew McIntyre upon his return to the company, with the Scotsman first needing to finish his business with both Seth Rollins and Jey Uso, who we also laid out this past Monday night. And before you go, make sure you check out 10 masked AEW wrestlers unmasked.